Hey everybody, this is Captain Yeet here for you to celebrate the 8th anniversary of God of War 2018. This is not my gameplay. This gameplay is specifically made by SSSB Gaming. This is all the cutscenes slash cinematics and all the boss fights. This is made by SSSB Gaming. I'm also put the video link in the comics. So let's get back into celebrating the 8th anniversary of God of War 2018. My history of God of War isn't really that crazy. Back when the first three games were coming out, I knew of them, and I just knew the basics that, Kratos got tricked by the Greek god of war, killed his wife and daughter by accident. That ash is on his skin. That's why his skin is like super white. He also wants to get revenge for that, obviously. So he wants to kill the Greek god of war and all the other gods in the pantheon. And I know he was able to do it, which was like so crazy to me. Like that is so crazy. Killing Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, all the Greek gods, Hercules, which is wild. Like there's no, well, he's not a normal guy. He's a demigod. Zeus is his dad, and he had a regular human mom. But still, like that is so crazy. And around the time the first three games were coming out in middle school, they weren't coming out during middle school, but a little bit they were. I remember I was like really heavy in the Greek mythology. There was like these hard cover comic books that would come out with each Greek god. Like on the cover, it would be a specific Greek god, and it'll go over their history, and some of those storylines were intertwined with other books. I forgot the series name. Like each book was named after whatever Greek god it was following, but it was like a specific series. I forgot the series name. You know what I'm talking about? Please tell me in the comments because I haven't seen those books since high school. Honestly, actually no, I haven't seen them since middle school. I don't remember those books being in high school at all. But you know what I'm talking about? Please tell me. But I remember reading those books. I remember just knowing the basics of this game. I mean, of God of War, but I never really looked too deep into it, just the basics. And eventually this game got announced, it came out. I still didn't really look too much into it. I just knew the basics of this game when it first came out back in 2018, that Kratos is in the Norse god's realm now somehow. He has a son. He wants to spread the ashes of his wife on the highest peak of all the realms, but for some reason the North gods doesn't want him to, and then chaos ensues. That's all I knew. I just knew the real bare bone basics of this game also. And I remember before I started to actually watch this game, actually look more into the lore of God of War, I never actually watched a playthrough of the first three. I was planning on it after I was done watching Ragnarok because, as you know, I wasn't able to play the game because I play on Xbox. I don't play on PlayStation. I could play the God of Wars though, but I never actually watched a playthrough of the first three. I was planning on it after Ragnarok, but they did announce that they're remaking the trilogy, which is really cool. But I mean, I think it's just now in production, so that might take a long, long time, especially since they're remaking three games. So I should probably just go ahead and watch them. Also, I'm sorry, This is a side note besides from this game, but how big is Santa Monica Studios? Because I really can't wait for the next God of War installment after Ragnarok. But they're remaking the first three games, and that's gonna take a long, long time, especially since they just started when they announced it not too long ago. So unless the studio is big enough to, have a group on the remake and have a group on the new game, it's gonna take forever to get the next installment. Unless the studio is big enough. I don't know if it's big enough to do that, to split them in half, but hopefully they're gonna be able to do that. Anyway, I remember before I started to actually watch gameplay to like get to know like the finer details and everything of 2018, I knew he had a son. And I knew Kratos was acting a lot different in this game. He also had a new weapon, the Leviathan axe. I knew, yeah, but I knew he had a son, and I thought the son was going to be the son of Kratos and Aphrodite. I forget where I saw or read. It was either in a video or I read it somewhere that he killed all the Greek gods in the pantheon besides from Aphrodite. That's the only god he didn't kill. Why? I don't know. But he killed all the gods besides for Aphrodite. And because that's the only god he didn't kill, I assumed since I found out he had a son in 2018, I was like, oh, okay. So that means the son is Aphrodite's son. I thought, for the longest before I actually started to watch the gameplay, I thought it was Aphrodite and Kratos' son. Obviously, when you think about it, he wouldn't get with Aphrodite. It's a Greek god. He hates them. But still, I was like, yeah, I don't know. And I gotta watch those first three games because obviously it makes sense to get back on the Greek god of war because he's the one that tricked you and turned you into what you are now. Besides from being born like that, but I'm like, what did Poseidon or Hades or anyone else do? I mean, I can kind of get why he was mad at Zeus too. 'Cause I heard he did some jacked up stuff, and Hera was like tricking him too. I think I heard. Well, I guess he tricked him to do all the other stuff. Because I'm like, what? Well, why was he killing everybody else? They didn't have anything to do with what the Greek God of War did. But It's what I gotta watch the games and find the details. But I remember one day I was just thinking to myself, I kind of want to get into God of War and learn the finer details because all I know was the basics and that's about it. So I just looked up a playthrough and I watched specifically the Jacksepticeye guy playthrough of this game. Eventually, I watched his Ragnarok playthrough. I don't really watch him that much, not because I hate him or anything. I just never really got into him back in the day in middle school. Some of my friends did. I just never watched them like that. But I did watch his God of War playthroughs for this and Ragnarok. I probably watched the next God of War, whatever it's called, playthrough for that. I also watched them play Spider Man 1, 2, and Miles Morales. Well, they didn't come out in that order, but I watched his playthroughs for that. And yeah, I watched his playthrough and I watched a bunch of lore videos on the game and I fell in love with it. And then eventually, I started to watch Ragnarok, but this specifically 2018. 2018 was really cool because I know it's been I know I can't imagine the reactions when this game got announced. I can because it was so long since 3, and then this game gets announced. Kratos has a beard, a son, the Leviathan axe. You can just recall it to him. Come on, that is so dope, and it has ice abilities. He's a lot more calmer and tame now. He's a completely different person than the first 3 games. And I did like the story in this game, trying to spread the ashes on the tallest peak in all the realms, and you get to meet all the other Greek, well not Greek, sorry, Norse gods along the way. You don't get to meet Odin in this game, but you just hear about him and how crazy, disgusting he is, all the evil stuff he does. You see Mimir, Freya was cool, Boulder, as we see, we've been watching their fight the whole time. Boulder, how he can't feel pain or anything at all. So he was giving Kratos a good run for his money here in this first fight. That first punch he gives him, man, when he flies over the house into his backyard, I was like, what? Ain't no way. I never heard of this dude. This guy's going crazy. I really don't know that much about Norse mythology. I just know basically the basics. Yeah, just Thor and Loki and Atreus being Loki. that that was crazy. But this game was really good. I wish I was able to play it one day. Maybe if that. Well, I think the rumors are true about the Xbox / PC thing. I think the new CEO of Xbox even said it can play PC games. So I guess I'll be able to play 2018 one day in Ragnarok, which would be really cool. I love that moment where Loki, well, no, I'm just calling him Atreus. When Atreus got sick because Kratos didn't tell him about how he used to be well, not used to be, but he used to be a god. Well, when I say used to be, he's still a god, but he's not like that anymore. That they're gods, and he got really sick from that. He got sick by something else. Or Jormungandr was really cool, but he got sick by something else. But he also was sick because he's a god, but he doesn't know it. He's living his life as a mortal, and that's like conflict is really making him sick. And I just love whenever he went back over to Freya to like help cure him. Freya was like, get away from me, Kratos. You were mad at me for being a god. Move away. He goes, Woman, open the door. Open it now. Boy is sick. Like he was spazzing and kicking the door, and he had to go to the underworld in Norse mythology to get the heart of like this gatekeeper. But he had to use his chains because he can't use his Leviathan axe down there for I forget why, but he had to get his chains. And that was why, because he didn't have him on this whole game, so I was assuming he was able to get him off some sort of way, and he just threw him away or something. He didn't want that to be his past anymore. Well, not be his past, but he didn't want them anymore. But he had them when he was putting them back on and when he was going to get them, he was having this vision of Hera talking to him. And I love the part where she was like, even when you do this or whatever you're gonna do in the future, you're still just gonna be a monster. And Kratos said, Yes, I will be, but no longer your monster. Oh, that was a good line. If I knew more of the lore and stuff, I know that would have hit a lot harder too. But I think I heard, she tricked him to do some stuff, but still, that was a good line. Oh, that was a good line. Brock and Sindri, they were two. They were funny. I like them. The two dwarf brothers helping Kratos get better armor and gear, and also upgrading the Leviathan axe and everything. Jormungandr looked really cool too. I love that when he came out, Kratos was like, "Boy, Beast, all those, hey boy, read it, boy." About the Game of Warriors, that was cool. But they're always arguing. Brock is more out there, outgoing, more Brutus. Sindri is more like a clean freak. It's totally opposite. But they're brothers. They still love each other. Thor's son, Magni and Modi. Which one was which? I forget. I think it was Magni, right? The one with the sword. That was so cool. A Thor with a sword. That was dope. And then they just killed him off. I can kind of understand why he was, obviously mad about that. Obviously, in the next game, but they were really cool. And halfway through the game, it was halfway right. Man, oh man, I was just hating. Oh, actually, before I forget, I do love that moment to where when Kratos was freeing Mimir because he had to chop his head off because he was stuck to that tree. He was telling him, "Are you sure you want me to do this?" He goes, "Odin tortures me every day, and there's no end to his creativity." And then when he was telling Kratos, "You need to tell Atreus that he's a god," he was like really getting on Kratos for it. He goes, "I'm gonna cut your head off now." Fair point. He's like, "That's fair, buddy. You got me. You got me there." That was funny. I don't just bringing up moments I liked throughout the game, but I mean that's the whole point of the anniversary video game talk. Me just talking about the stuff I like about whatever game. I was able to play this, man. It's so beautiful. I just couldn't wait for the next game, especially at the very end when we see Thor pop up. Who are you? But anyway, like I said, like halfway through the game, whenever Kratos eventually does tell Atreus that they are gods, so he doesn't have to be sick anymore. As we all know, Atreus just got so annoying, boy. I mean, that Joker. Actually, let me pause it. So a different boss fight in this video, because I think now it's just gonna be them talking. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. But when Atreus found out that he was a god, he just started to become meaner and meaner, just being disrespectful, not listening to Kratos. In this part of the game, when he shot Kratos with that arrow, I'm like, what is his problem? I was getting so mad. And then when he killed Modi, when he was all battered and bruised because Thor was mad his other son died, like, oh man, that was crazy. That was sad too. All that moment though, he was like, there's consequences to killing a god. How do you know? Watch your tone, boy. I remember when I know this is a 2018 video, but I remember when Ragnarok was announced. I think there was an article that said, because Kratos calls him boy all the time in this game. There was some article that said in the next game, Kratos is gonna call him Atreus a lot more than just saying boy. And I saw this meme that so Kratos said, "Sad boy noises." That's such a stupid little meme, man. That did have me cracking up. Had me cracking up like crazy. Was up whenever I think about it too, and when I watched the playthrough, maybe like a month or two later, Ragnarok got announced. Like I just watched it, like I watched the playthrough of this game at a good moment. I love that moment with Kratos and Atreus was like bonding, drinking that ale together. And when after they drunk it, they were sniffing the air. They're like, "What's that smell?" Kratos goes, "It smells like rain." And then Moldy sort of out of nowhere, and, Atreus sort of uses, oh yeah, the Blades of Chaos. I kept calling them the Blades of Chaos. Well, I guess they're on chains, but when Atreus tried to use his Spartan rage and it made him pass out, that was funny. I'm like, oh, that's cute. He was trying to use it and he passed out instantly. And the whole storyline with Boulder and Freya, I thought was really like it was sad. Yeah, I was gonna say jacked up, but it was mainly just sad because obviously I can see because there was that prophecy of him dying. So he put that spell on him the way he can't feel anything to kill him, but also he can't feel anything in general. He can't feel warmth or cold. He can't feel nothing. Like what kind of life is that? And, he lives for hundreds of thousands of years. Y'all seen that meme when Kratos jumps in his Fortnite? That meme was so stupid. He actually jumps in his Fortnite. Well, anyway, but yeah, he can't. Sorry, the jump just thinking about that. Oh, but yeah, but he can't feel anything, and he hates his mom for it. And then at the end of the game, he was trying to kill her. He was able to feel again because he got stabbed with the mistletoe. And Kratos said the cycle and is here and killed him. And obviously, I can understand Freya being mad about that. That even though yes, he was trying to kill me, that was still her son. And she still doesn't want her son to die. And I can get both sides. Obviously, I was a bit more on Kratos' side because I mean he was trying to kill you, but that was his son. The combo move him and Atreus was doing though, that went crazy on the boulder. I'm almost saw that before this video ends. And then the very end of the game, that was such a beautiful ending. They left Mimir behind. Brother, left Mimir behind so they can have a moment together. I remember there was a ton of theories that he was gonna get a robot body. That never happened. But did I bring up the Jormungandr thing? When Jormungandr came out and Kratos was like, "Boy, be steady!" Like you could tell Kratos was a little nervous. He was like shaking, and Atreus was like, I'm good." When he first came up, Jormungandr looked crazy though. He looked so cool. But anyway, that sweet moment when they finally, he spilled the beans about everything. They spread the ashes of their mom and the land of the giants. Also, that giant mural that showed Kratos dying was so wild. I'm like, what? Ain't no way. They're never to kill Kratos, the biggest money maker, of PlayStation. But people were thinking that because of the mural. And I love the scene where he unwrapped the bandages on his arms from the Blade of Chaos, letting everything go. He's at peace now. That was a beautiful scene. This is a really good game, though. Obviously, I'm saying that from somebody that watched it and just watched lore videos. I never actually played the game, but from you can hear from people that actually play the game. It's a really good game. I just had to watch it because I don't play on PlayStation. But story wise, graphic wise, and just the characters in general, I love this game. It was so cool. I wish I could be able to play it, but I'm on Xbox. But the next Xbox, still be like a slash PC, so I guess I'll be able to play this in Ragnarok one day, and I guess whenever the next God of War will be announced is on it. Whenever the next God of War, I'm gonna be on it. I'm gonna be in the lore and everything. But when this game came out, I was like, I guess God of War is whatever. I'll look into it eventually. But now I'm in it. Now I'm really into it. Well, I don't know if I'm into fandom, but I'm really into it now. So I'm gonna be on it. I'm gonna be on it most definitely whenever the next game is announced. I'm gonna be so on it. Oh, honestly, actually, before I end the video, I'm gonna show that scene where they were doing a combo team up on Boulder. But I do want to ask you guys something because me and my friend was having a debate literally last night, which is kind of funny. What happened in this debate last night? So remember that game that came out when they announced the trilogy? It was the game that was showing Kratos during the war when he was just a regular human. I mean, yeah, he's not a regular human, but before he got the blades and everything and the ashes and stuff. Well, it was like him during like the regular Greek war. He was like quote unquote human. I remember he was really mad. My friend, we were talking about this. He was mad because it's not like a game that looks like this. It's actually, let me just show them the boss fight. What has happened? Okay, I'm back. So I remember we were having this debate because he was like the game where it shows Kratos in the war when he was like a human. It should have been a game like this, looking this beautiful. A game like, God of War 2018 or Ragnarok. I was like, no, they really shouldn't because Kratos wasn't doing the crazy, crazy stuff he was doing in this game, the first three games, or Ragnarok. So it would be kind of lame to be a human in war. Not saying they couldn't make the game look like this, but what would be the point? The game they kind of have is kind of good. And he was like, what? You're smoking. I was like, maybe they should have made a game that looked like this. Maybe not on this scale. But, maybe they could. I mean, I couldn't see why not. But the way what they did is, all right, we're going back and forth on that. I still stand on my point. I mean, if they want to make a game, make the game like this, that's fine. It's not going to be on this scale, though. He's thinking it's going to be this scale. I'm like, it's not going to be this scale because he's a human. It's not going crazy. They're not going to put all that money into that because it's not going to be that crazy. But I mean, hey, that's whatever. Also, I forgot. It's been so long since I watched it, but there was that one sweet moment between Kratos and Atreus while they were in the underworld. I know what it's called, but I don't like saying it. But while they were in the underworld, there was that one sweet moment when they met up with each other that I like. And when Freya started to use that giant monster thing to stop the fight, it looked like Kratos. The face kind of looked like Kratos. I'm like, is that Kratos? I was so confused for a second. We're watching the video like, what? Why does it look just like Kratos in the face a tiny bit? It was really just the beard, honestly, but I was a little confused. But I guess besides from that, let me just show when they were spreading the ashes and when he unwrapped his bandages, and then we'll be done with God of War 2018. Okay. Hey, I'm back. This video is made by Play Tendo, and this is of the final boss fight and the last secret cutscene. So this video is made by Play Tendo. Also, I forgot to mention that one really sad moment when Kratos killed Boulder. He was, fading in and out of consciousness. He was about to die, and he was feeling the snow fall on his face, and he goes, "It feels cold." And then he goes out. I was like, "Oh, that was sad." Obviously, he was a crazy dude trying to kill us the whole game, but it was also really sad that he just couldn't feel anything his whole life. He's been alive for hundreds of plus years. That was so wild. But yeah, that's God of War 2018. Oh yeah, no, actually, sorry, I'm supposed to show Kratos unwrapping his bandages. Was that before this? I kind of just skipped forward to this until I saw them do this. I think it's before this, maybe after this. I don't know. I guess I'll pause it one last time and then I'll show that. Sorry about that. I'm pausing it so much. This video is made by Xandar Aesthetics, and the video that I had before that it showed this, but this is what it looks like. I love this scene. You can see the scars from the chains on his body. Yeah, but this was good. This was a good game. So like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all later. Thank you all for watching. I thank you all. I hope you all be wonderful human beings out there, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye. You better subscribe, boy. That was dope. That was so dope.